In our mind up thing today we did, it was like, what is the goal that you want after this summer with your team? And it's like to create like a lifelong friendship with people. And like I truly believe that I've definitely made some of those throughout this.
At the end of the day, it just came down to happiness and opportunity. So where was I going to be the happiest? Because happiness is hard to come by in life. I just wanted to pick, the spot or the place that would make me the happiest moving forward. And obviously that's here over sitting at a desk. My buddy put it the best way. He said, dude, you have 6 more weeks in the Cape and you have 50 plus years to go sit at a desk. So that was a pretty easy decision there. And then opportunity. I'm always going to be able to go back and sit at a desk. It's just a matter of I'm never going to get this opportunity again. So that's why I chose to stay.
Two 2-0 Commerce lead here in the top of the 6th inning as Angelo Smith comes in this ball game for Jake Eder. Eder goes 5 strong innings, 8 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 1 walk, and 5 punch-outs. But as we mentioned before, it could have been a lot worse. This lead could be 4-0, could be 5-0, but Jake Eder worked out of a couple tough situations, even though, he'll probably say it himself, one is his best stuff on the mound, but once again, finds a way to give the Firebirds a chance here in this ball game.
Yeah, it clearly wasn't his best stuff, but you got to give a lot of props to Jake Eder. Like you mentioned, it could be 4-0, could be 5-0, maybe even 6. Was able to limit some damage, gives the Birds a chance late in this ball game.
First pitch misses up and out of the zone to Steve Moreno, the first baseman. Solo blasts in the 4th. Provided half the offense tonight, and he doubled in the 3rd and came around to score. 1-0 curveball dances in at the knees, kind of ball and a strike. Smith making his 6th appearance here on Cape Cod. 6 2/3 work, 7 punch-outs, has walked 3. 1-1 curve. Once again, same spot, same result, 1-2. Smith did pitch against the Commoners back on July 20th in Falmouth. Got roughed up a bit there, but that was really his bad outing so far on the Cape as the 1-2 fastball runs up and out, 2-2. Smith glances in towards Moreno. 2-2. Curveball, cut out a miss for strike 3. A lot of movement and spin on it. Pitch ends up almost behind Moreno. And he strikes out for the first out here in the 6th.
Yeah, and that's what we've seen from Angelo Smith. Some wipeout stuff on the mound, shy of that one appearance against the Commodores earlier. That's now 8 punch-outs in 7 innings for the southpaw from Michigan.
So now it's the 9-hole hitter, Tim Tawa. Takes the first pitch, low and outside for ball 1. Tawa so far struck out in the 3rd, singled in the 4th. The junior out of Stanford. 1-0 pitch. It's fouled back to the screen. Got a ball and a strike. Tawa played left field in yesterday's ball game. Now moves over to 3rd base. Not something you see very often as the 1-1 pitch is reached for. He goes around, says the first base umpire. Pitch was out of the zone, but Tawa gets caught swinging. Count 1-2.
It's not something you see often, but it's happened twice in this little series, if you will. Max Strani moved from left to 3rd in the same game.
1-2 from Smith. Curveball is clubbed out high in the air down the left field side. Strani going in towards the line. And it is a foul ball. So that one was hugged down on the foul pole down towards the BP bubble down there. So the count stays 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 down here at the top of the 6th, 2-0 Commodores lead. As Tawa looks in once more, 1-2 from Smith. Rocket, 1 hop towards the shortstop, Wickham. Corrals it, throw on a first stretch. by Brennan at first, gets Tawa for the second out. So Smith retires the first two Commodores he sees here in this outing. As Hayden Cantrell steps in to the right side for the fourth time tonight. Going to switch hitter all of his ABs tonight from the right side with Eder a southpaw and now Angelo Smith a left-hander. Cantrell so far has reached base 2 out of the 3 times. Singled in the third and walked in the fourth. Takes a first pitch off speed at the belt for strike 1. Cantrell will see that OBP rise as well in this ball game. 0-1 showing butt, pulls it back as the curveball is in the dirt. Got a ball and a strike.
Yeah, and he's guaranteed 5 plate appearances tonight, as barring he doesn't come out of this ball game between now and the 9th inning. But already his 4th plate appearance, and we're only in the 6th.
Smith looks in once more, the 1-1. Curveball misses down and in as Cantrell tosses the barrel up in the air. 2 balls and 1 strike. So the Commodores trying to tack on a few more in this half. I think Smith trying to work a scoreless inning as comes right back with a 2-1 fastball. 89 miles an hour right at the knees on the inside corner. Cantrell has a chat with the home plate umpire as he steps out and takes a deep breath. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count on Hayden Cantrell. The pitch, 2-2 rolled over down to the left side of Shea Whitcomb. Fields it high throw over to first. Pulls Brennan off the bag. And Cantrell reaches over at first. So now with 2 down, Cantrell over at first base. Blanked on the center fielder. Who's 0 for 3 tonight after hitting a home run yesterday. Again, 3 home runs yesterday for the Commodores. They have 1 so far. First pitch, or no first pitch, as Smith's snap throw over on the rubber. It'll be E6 by Whitcomb on that play. As Cantrell reaches over at first base, and now what you see a lot here on Cape Cod, headlights over in right field.
Okay, now this is the funniest thing, and I have to mention this. I'm sorry. Steve Guerin, the PA and treasurer of the Orleans Firebirds, wore a sheriff's badge last night at Eldridge Park. And Alex Gagne, who we can't say more amazing things about because he is incredible, photographer for the Firebirds, sent it out with a tweet, the sheriff of Orleans or something like that. And Chris Constantine, a former Orleans Firebirds assistant coach and now working in the Angels organization, said, get Sheriff Guerin on it. They'll tell him to turn off the car lights in right field.
Sheriff Guerin's in the building here. As the first pitch to Blake Dunn bounces in. Count a ball and no strikes. Get Dunn so far struck out in the first, then back-to-back pop-outs. Both to Julio Marcano at second base. Angelo Smith from the stretch, the 1-0 fastball too far inside. As Dunn lunges out of the way across home plate towards the left-hander's batter's box. Count 2-0.
Yeah, and this is the guy you want to get. Blake Dunn, a good hitter in his own right, but Zach DeLoach, red hot this summer for the Falmouth Commodores. You do not want him coming up with runners on base.
Smith a long pause, looks back towards first, running, going towards second base. 2-0, cut on a miss, throw down towards second base. And they're going to call him out at the plate as Blake Dunn got in the way of the catcher, Rob Emery, on the swing and miss. And home plate umpire calls him out. Contact made by Dunn, and when Emery trying to make the throw down, it bounced about 4 times before it got to second base. And that's how the 6th inning will end here at Eldridge Park. No runs on no hits, 1 error, and nobody left on base. We're through here. We're through 6 innings here at Eldridge Park. Commodores 2, Firebirds nothing. So we'll step aside and listen to Firebirds baseball on the Birds Broadcast Network.
Down. 1-0, fastball corked to deep left field. Rivoli ranging back. Track wall looks up. the 2.
Right field for a base hit. Going from first to third is Lala. He's in easily standing up. He's in home half of the 6th inning from Eldridge Park. 2-0 Commodores lead after the batter's interference call. Punches out done at the dish and ends that half inning as the Firebirds look to get the bats going. Here in this half inning, Molchinski will depart the hill for the Commodores as Christian Edwards, right out of Jacksonville State, makes his Cape League debut here. Molchinski, final line for him, 5 innings, 5 hits, doesn't allow a run. Doesn't walk anybody and strikes out 5. So Molchinski once again throws another 5 innings of scoreless baseball against the Firebirds, making out 10 innings against the Birds this year, which he has been perfect. So 2, 3, 4 hitters due up for the Firebirds in this half inning. Zach Kokoska, the right fielder from Kansas State, will dig in from the left side and dinks his back left foot towards the back end of the batter's box. Junior from Latrobe, Pennsylvania, 6', 200-pounder outfielder against the right-hander from Jacksonville State. First pitch swinging, Zach Kokoska punches it over the third base dugout, over Route 28 for strike 1. Kokoska so far tonight, grounded out in the first and struck out in the third. Here in his third AB of this ball game. As the headlights return to right field for a second, but now are turned off. Edwards takes a deep breath. The 0-1. Curveball bends in right at the belt for strike 2. Count no balls and 2 strikes on Kokoska. Kokoska's average has dipped down to 235 here late in this season. Looks to get back on track here. 0-2. Fastball, high chopper down the third base side, foul. As Towel, the third baseman, chases after it in foul grounds. Count remains 0-2.
Big moves in that Harwich YD game. The Mariners back in front. It's 4-3 in the last of the 7th. 2 runs in the frame for Harwich, an RBI single by Hal Hughes, and then a hit by pitch with the bases loaded by Joey Weimer.
Edwards comes set. Once more, he takes a deep breath. The 0-2 from the stretch. Curveball rolled over down the first base side. Takes a candy hop towards the right at first base, who steps on the bag himself. He retires Kokoska for the first out. So a seesaw of a game down at Harwich. And it's a big game as well in things. And speaking of the East Division standings, again, YD trying to snap a 3-game losing streak, and Harwich trying to move their way up in the playoff contention ladder. So one down is Max Triani, the left fielder tonight out of Bentley. Hitless so far in this ball game. First pitch to Triani, curveball that's in the dirt. Triani lays off of it for ball 1. So the sun pretty much set here from Eldridge Park. The lights will take full effect on the diamond. 1 out. Curveball starts off at Trani and catches the inside corner of the belt for strike one. Count a ball and a strike. And Trani tied for the Cape League lead and average with a 351 mark. 1-1. Curveball this time comes up top. Up and in on Triani. Count 2 balls and 1 strike. So try the left fielder. Digs back in towards the right side. Edwards, rider comes, sets from the belt. Kicks and fires a 2-1 fastball. It's spiked in towards the dirt. Count 3 balls and 1 strike. 1 down here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Commoners 2, Firebirds nothing. Nobody aboard for the Birds. Again, Firebirds so far tonight haven't been able to scratch across the run. Same thing almost as last night. 2 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for the Commodores. No runs, 5 hits, and 1 error for the Firebirds. 3-1, off speed, misses for ball 4. Gets away from Clouch as Trani hustles down. And Trani reaches first base for the first time tonight on a walk here in the 6th with 1 down.
Okay, thank you.
So now Zach Britton steps in from the left side. Britton, who singled in the 2nd, lined out towards center in the 4th as Blake Dunn took a hit away from Zach Britton. So Trani leads off of first base. As Edwards looks in towards Zach Britton. First pitch swing, he hits one high out towards right field. Deloach, the right fielder, backing up a few steps. Makes the grab comfortably for a loud out number 2.
Just got under that one from tying this ball game up. Zach Britton has shown off the power this summer, especially against right-handed pitching, but hit one off the end of the bat. Just missed the sweet spot. If that ball's maybe an inch or 2 further down the barrel, this game's tied.
And Zach Britton hit one out towards the parking lot in BP yesterday. We saw him hit a moonshot down the right field line here at Eldridge Park earlier in the season. Got cut up with the trees. That's how far it went. So Shea Whitcomb, a shortstop, open stance on the right side. First pitch, fastball in the dirt. Gets away from the catcher, Clounch. And Trani takes second base. So a base hit now. Can't score. Trani from second base.
Another microcosm of this season, Thomas. Look who's making the heart of this threat right here. It's the 2 Division II boys. Max Trani, who leads the team in batting average, got home with a walk, able to take second on the wild pitch. And if Shea Whitcomb can find a way to deliver a base knock, those guys have been the key cogs in the heart of this Firebirds lineup. Whitcomb leads the team with 5 homers.
Trani guy leads the team in on-base percentage as well. As the 1-0 to Whitcomb. Fastball is a major league pop-up up behind the dish. Clouch tosses the mass, heading right forward towards us as it hits off our broadcast table. I saw the ball up in the air because the only time I really look up, and it hit off towards the laptop over here on our broadcast setup.
I think it might have hit our producer's computer, Bryce Johnson, who at the very least is happy he has a foul ball. And unfortunately, he's going to keep it for himself and deny the kids. Wow. What a heartbreaking night at Eldridge Park. Broken laptop and some sad little kids.
As now there's a crowd out here behind us on the dish. The 1-1 curveball misses upstairs. Count 2 balls and 1 strike. Now back-to-back years, I've almost been hit by a foul ball. I don't bring my glove to the ballpark, but would have had it. 2 balls and 1 strike to count on Shea Whitcomb. Trani off a second base. The 2-1. Fastball, cut a miss, throw down towards second base. Nobody home. Snap throw from Clounch. Skipped in towards center field towards Dunn, but backing the throw up was Dunn. And Trani has to hold up at second base. So count 2 balls and 2 strikes here on Shea Whitcomb. As Edwards looks in towards Shea Whitcomb once more. Trying off a second base with 2 down. Let's do 2. Fastball upstairs. Whitcomb just able to lay off. Appeal down towards the first base. Umpire able to hold up. Count runs full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. So bottom of the 6th inning here from Eldridge Park. Commodores 2, Firebirds nothing. Trying to extend his lead off a second base. Control the second baseman. Not really holding Trani on over there. Whitcomb trying to drive in the first run for the Birds here tonight. Edwards set from the belt. Kicks and fires the payoff pitch. Fastball just popped up and out of play behind home plate. Hopefully no laptops over that direction.
Thomas from the top rope. For those that did not catch that comment the first time, hopefully there's no laptops behind home plate. Jeez.
I just shout him out when I know him out here.
Ruthless.
The youngest of 4 siblings.
Ruthless.
You take no prisoners. Payoff pitch once more. 3-2 curveball outside corner for strike 3. Edwards goes to a curve on the outside corner, catches Whitcomb looking. Firebirds once again, no runs on no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We're through 6 here at Eldridge Park as we'll take a look around the Cape. Again, a lot of big matchups going on here tonight. Final in high end as Brewster defeats the Harbor Hawks 8-1 at McKean Park. Chatham goes final well at Dorn Park in Bourne. Chatham 6-2 victory over the Bourne Braves. Over in Harwich, things still interesting over there. 4-3 Mariners lead in the top of the 8th inning. And here in Orleans, 2-0 Commodores lead over the Firebirds. Again, so the Whitecaps victory tonight. They now move to 16-19-1 with 33 points. Chatham extends lead on YD once more with 48 points now, 23-12-2. That's a Cape League best record. YD just close by as well with 42 points again. They trail the Harwich Mariners late in that ball game at White House Field. That's probably the biggest game to watch here on Cape Cod tonight as Angelo Smith returns back to the hill.
Firebirds and Commodores, top of the 7th at Eldridge Park. Falmouth 2, Orleans nothing. Angelo Smith, the southpaw from Michigan, 2nd inning on the bump for the Firebirds in relief. It'll be 2, 3, and 4 for Falmouth, starting with Blake Dunn. Rather, it will be Zach DeLoach, 3, 4, and 5, with Dunn being called down on catcher's interference to end the 6th. So heart of the lineup for Falmouth, Zach DeLoach to lead things off. He's 3 for 3 tonight and has the Commodores on top of the Firebirds 2-0. First pitch from Angelo Smith. Fastball tails outside for ball 1. Smith tossed the 6th inning and got the Birds back into the dugout with a 0 on the board. Now the rising junior at Michigan winds and fires the 1-out. Breaking ball drops in on the inside corner. It's 1-1. 3, 4, and 5 for this Falmouth offense with Trey Cruz and Barron Radcliffe to follow. 1-1. Breaking ball shot out to deep right field. Kokoska ranging back to his right. Has room in front of the track. Makes the grab with his back just in front of the wall for the first out of the inning.
Well, the way Zach DeLoach was swinging the bat tonight, you know how to be either a long fly ball or a hard hit line drive or ground ball or something to retire him. He's been unstoppable at the dish for the Commodores.
So now Trey Cruz, the switch hitting shortstop from Rice, will dig in. Cruz has been aboard twice tonight. He's 1 for 2. First pitch, changeup up in the zone, waved out and missed for strike 1. Falmouth 2, Orleans nothing. 1 away in the top of the 7th inning. Smith wheels and deals the 0-1. Fastball drops in low. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. For the Firebirds, trying to get their offense rolling after scoring just 1 run last night against the Commodores. They're scoreless tonight. 1-1. Breaking ball flutters just off the dish. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Cruz has been in the heart of this Falmouth lineup all summer long, despite a recent skid at the plate. The 2-1. Fastball upstairs. Chin music to Trey Cruz. Caroms off the brick behind home plate. Pops up in the air. And the ball boy on the third base side will get it. Run back to the Falmouth netting. Seen some dangerous foul balls tonight at Eldridge Park. One, the casualty of a laptop on the Orleans media team. 3-1, fastball up and away, ball 4. So 1-out walk to Trey Cruz, and Falmouth looking for insurance here in the 7th.
You better hide your laptops out here for sure.
Now there was a lot at stake. High fly ball on the second of 3 tables in Media Row at Eldridge Park. No one able to make the grab on the fly. Rather, there's a reason why we're behind the netting. And landed directly on, unfortunately, our great producer Bryce Johnson's laptop. First pitch to Baron Radcliffe. Breaking ball taken on the inside corner for strike 1.
He did bring his glove to the ballpark today, just didn't have it on him.
He didn't use the hat either.
I just rather use my hands.
So Radcliffe 0 for 3 tonight. All 3 ABs have lasted 3 pitches. Here's the second pitch, 0-1. Fastball cut and missed. Runner going. Throw down from Emery. Bounced. Not in time. So Trey Cruz swipes second base. There's no batter's interference on this one. As Cruz is able to take second, it's his 10th stolen base of the summer.
And that ball hit off the backside of the hill and almost got there just in time to beat Cruz, but he just gets in there safely.
So Radcliffe, who's hitless tonight, after going on a 6-game hit streak, he's just 1 for 17 against left-handers this summer. The 0-2. Breaking ball, cut on and missed, strike 3. Sharp curveball from Angelo Smith has Baron Radcliffe guessing, and there's 2 away.
Radcliffe now with the hat trick has struck out 3 times here tonight. Total opposite from yesterday's game where hit a late home run in that ball game.
So now Troy Clonch will dig in for the Commodores. He's 0 for 3 tonight as well, and a strikeout victim his first time around. Smith the long stare in. He's set from the third base side. First pitch. Breaking ball. Clonch goes fishing in the dirt for strike 1. Commodores 2, Firebirds nothing. Runner in scoring position with 2 down in the top of the 7th. Clonch now 2 for his last 18 at the plate. Has yet to secure a hit against the Firebirds this summer. 0-1, hard heater above the letters. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Clonch making his way across the coast this summer. California native attends Oregon State, coming to Cape Cod. Southpaw winds and fires 1-1. Breaking ball flutters low, handcuffs Rob Emery, rolls past the catcher and through the umpire's legs and into no man's land. A pass ball allows Trey Cruz to take third. It counts 2 balls and 1 strike.
I've been in those situations before as a catcher where you just don't know where the ball is. It's a tough feeling. Because you knock the ball down, but then it disappears.
Now for Clonch, not only has he made the trip across coast, he spent last summer in Alaska with the Anchorage Bucks in the Alaska Baseball League. 3-1 fastball, waved out and missed. Rather 2-1, and now it's 2-2. So Cruz is 90 feet away with the Commodores leading the Firebirds 2-0 in the top of the 7th. Smith working out of the stretch. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball bounces low, smothered down by Emery in the left-handed batter's box, and the count runs full. Firebirds hugging the lines on the corners, but Zach Britton, the first baseman, playing behind the bag. Third baseman Eddie McCabe keeping a close watch on Trey Cruz. 3-2, fastball cut on and missed, strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Angelo Smith. Strands a runner at third base. And once again, the southpaw from Michigan tosses a 0 on the board. Falmouth Commodores score no runs on no hits, no errors, and they leave 1 runner left on base. We've reached stretch time at Eldridge Park. Falmouth 2, Orleans nothing. And Scotty Gaines, who has spent his time with many special guests, This one a little closer to our hearts. Let's send it over to Scotty.
Thank you, Josh. Hey, Josh just said that you're a little closer to our hearts in terms of a special guest here with Ty Oranger, our MLB scout liaison. You hear the take me out to the ball game behind us. But Ty, the big story of tonight is a great pitching matchup and lots of scouts here. What did you see tonight?
Lachinsky of Falmouth is one of the better pitchers I've seen on the Cape, definitely in my top 5. He really mixed well, had some of the higher velo, and was really able to command. That's the thing that if you have that kind of the stuff and command mix, it really catches everybody's eye, and he certainly has it. So definitely a reason for scouts to be here.
There was lots of scouts here. When you look around and see, what type of teams they were representing, whether it be teams, agencies, companies, anything like that, what stood out to you, if anything, of tonight?
It's been in terms of the people who are here, where they're from. It's a very broad mix. I think the cross checkers are here. So these are the last guys who are getting looks at people at the end of the year. So the earlier scouts will come in and kind of say, we should maybe take a look at this guy Lachinsky, obviously, and then the higher level guys are here, and they're gonna probably mark him up and turn him in as one of the better players.
How about Jake Eater? A couple pitches didn't go his way, obviously, tonight, but a big, tall, strong thrower like him, he's got to be a great prospect and a guy that the scouts here would love to see, I would think.
Yeah, Eater's an interesting player. The thing about him is he's got to kind of start to feel his breaking ball. The fastball is there, and he just needs to kind of start mixing better and kind of not throwing his over the plate as much. He's kind of didn't work any batters inside, and I think that he's young, so he's got time. But he's definitely got potential, especially with that delivery. He's a little deceptive. So yeah.
Ty, thanks so much for the time, man. Really appreciate you as always. We're gonna let him get back to work. He's a busy man. We'll let him get back. And Josh and Thomas, man, always cool to hear from Ty. He's the genius in studio and genius here at Eldridge Park. So cool to hear from him. We'll send it back to you. We got an exciting ball game to get back to. 2-0 game. Hey, it's anybody's ball game right now, guys.
Very intriguing talk from Scotty and Ty. We thank Ty Oranger, Firebirds MLB scout liaison, for the time. Christian Edwards, a scoreless 6th inning in his Cape Cod Baseball League debut. The right-hander from Jacksonville State goes back out for inning number 2 on the bump, with the Falmouth Commodores leading the Orleans Firebirds 2-0 in the last of the 7th at Eldridge Park. It'll be 7, 8, and 9 for Orleans, with Eddie McCabe, the third baseman from Georgetown, to lead things off. Firebirds with just 5 hits tonight. They haven't had one since the 4th inning. And McCabe trying to spark the Orleans offense. Third baseman from Georgetown steps in from the right side. Right-hander Christian Edwards set first base side of the rubber. Right-hander from Jacksonville State comes set at the belt. Here's his first pitch to Eddie McCabe. Fastball up and away for ball 1. Commodores 2, Firebirds nothing. Bottom half of the 7th at Eldridge Park. McCabe is 1 for 2 tonight, a single back in the 4th. One of 5 hits for Orleans this evening. Edwards a deep breath, taking his time, 1 out. Fastball nips the inside corner at the belt. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. This has been the part of the Firebirds offense the last couple nights that has sparked Orleans. It's McCabe, Emery, and Keegan 2 up in the frame. McCabe, one of the hottest hitters in this Orleans lineup. He's reached base in 16 straight. 1-1. Breaking ball shot back up the middle. The second baseman Cantrell shuffles to his right. Lollygags the throw onto first, but in plenty of time for the first out of the inning. So now Rob Emery, the catcher from San Francisco, has had quite an adventurous night behind the plate. A couple attempted stolen bases from the team that's the most aggressive on the base paths this summer, the Falmouth Commodores. One attempt ended in a batter's interference call that ended the frame with Emery the beneficiary. Emery 0 for 2 tonight, struck out swinging back in the 4th. Edwards, in his first appearance on the Cape, set from the first base side of the rubber. Right-hander's first pitch home. Fastball just misses low for ball 1.
Hey. My laptop may be dead.
So Emery, that average falling down once again after he started to heat up for the Birds. Now at 257. Edwards working meticulously on the mound. Jacksonville State product comes set. The 1-0 home. Fastball, big swing and a miss, and it's 1-1. One away in the bottom of the 7th. 2-0 Commodores lead over the Firebirds. Orleans down to their final 8 outs on their home turf, trying to avoid a 2-game skid. For the Falmouth Commodores, they're looking to make it 9 wins in a row. Falmouth, the best team in the West Division, trying to continue their climb.
I can't do any of my.
The 1-1.
I can make highlight reels.
Fastball up and away. It's 2 balls and 1 strike.
I can do the stream, and that's it.
Rob Emery's father was in town this past week. He's made a couple trips to Cape Cod. Said he's not coming back unless he can get some more frequent flyer miles from his wife and hopefully Mr. Emery.
Substantial dent.
The Emery family will make their way back to Cape Cod as the Birds make a deep run in the postseason. 2-1 to Rob. Fastball fouled back to the netting. It's 2-2.
And I called him right after it happened. I just got off the phone with him.
Emery is second go-around on the Cape. Just had 1 AB last summer for the Harwich Mariners.
Laptop gets damaged.
But in turn number 2,
Pop up.
Emery has been an integral part to this Firebirds team.
Or the team pays for a new laptop or something. He doesn't know. He's gonna find out. I sure hope they do.
Right-hander Edwards set first base side. 2-2 the count.
You would think, but otherwise now I have to spend $2,000 more.
Here's the pitch home.
Out of my own pocket.
Curveball goes above the head of Claunch to the backstop, and the count runs full.
Insurance for
So the Firebirds trail 2-0 in the bottom half of the 7th inning.
baseball hitting the laptop.
And boy, would a walk
Is that gonna be covered in
prove more
because it's physical damage.
beneficiary than you might think. If Emery draws a free pass, that would bring up Dom Keegan, who would represent the tying run. Keegan has yet to hit a home run at the collegiate level, but has shown that pop
Pull it out of my Ugma.
in the high school ranks.
Pull money out of my Ugma.
Edwards a deep breath. Here's the 3-2. Fastball blown past Emery for strike 3. Edwards, a high hitter, continues his dominance in his Cape Cod debut, and there's 2 away.
All right. I just figured I would let you know.
So now Tom Keegan will try and extend the frame for the Orleans Firebirds. Keegan 0 for his first 2 as a Bird. He's going to walk down towards Jamie Quinn at third base and have a quick chat. And for Keegan, both of those 2 outs in his first 3 plate appearances, strikeouts on just 3 pitches. Went down looking both times. Was hit by the pitch on the first pitch of the AB back in the 5th. Commodores 2, Firebirds nothing. Last of the 7th at Eldridge Park. Keegan, a rising sophomore, originally from Massachusetts, former 4th overall prospect in the state, took his talents to Vanderbilt, helped the Commodores win a national championship. 6 foot even, 210-pound DH, digs in from the right side, and he'll call time with Edwards working as slow as molasses on the mound. Both Wilczynski and Eder got this game rolling on the bump, and Edwards has slowed this thing down. First pitch, fastball high and tight, almost clips Keegan once again for ball 1. Keegan just 25 plus at-bats as a true freshman at Vanderbilt. Batted .227 in those limited opportunities. But boy, is he talented, especially at the plate. Here's the 1-0. Fastball tails outside. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Keegan trying to get on for the Birds with Julio Marcano, who has roped every ball he's seen since his return back to Orleans, waiting on deck. 2-0 to Keegan. Fastball ripped out and missed. It's 2-1. So far tonight for the Falmouth Commodores, they've scored 2 runs on 8 hits, 1 error. And they've left 9 runners on base. For the Orleans Firebirds, no runs to show for 5 hits, 1 error, and 5 runners left on base. The 2-1. Fastball dots the outside corner. It's 2-2. So Tom Keegan trying to pick up his first hit as an Orleans Firebird. We've seen through the early parts of the summer, it takes some time to get used to swinging the wood at the dish. And Keegan is behind everyone else, just getting up here. 2-2. Breaking ball tipped at the third base line. A good job by Keegan to stay alive, and we'll do it again. Keegan, a 4-time all-conference selection from Methuen, Massachusetts. Batted .402 in his high school career. Of course, the Firebirds would take a hit right here, but they'll also take a walk or hit by pitch. Anyway, Keegan can get on and bring the tying run to the plate. Commodores 2, Firebirds nothing at Eldridge Park. Here's the 2-2. Breaking ball stays upstairs, and the count runs full. Good battle here from Tom Keegan, trying to reach base for the second time tonight. The 7th pitch of the AB coming up to the Birds' 8-hole hitter, Tom Keegan, with Julio Marcano waiting on deck. Here's the payoff pitch. Fastball cut on and missed, strike 3. Back-to-back Ks for Christian Edwards. He punches out 3 in his Cape League debut, and the side is retired. Orleans unable to scratch for anything in the 7th as the Birds go down in order. We're through 7 complete innings at Eldridge Park. It's Falmouth 2, Orleans nothing. We'll step aside. You're listening to Firebirds Baseball on the Birds Broadcast Network. Kelly Nicholson will make the call to the bullpen as the 15th-year skipper calls for David Steele, the right-hander from Northeastern, set to make his 4th appearance for the Orleans Firebirds. He's tossed 4 innings so far, has yet to give up an earned run, has walked 2 and struck out 6. And of course, he last pitched against the Falmouth Commodores 6 days ago at Gov Fuller Field, tossed a scoreless frame and struck out 2. So David Avidia will also come into catch. So the all-David battery here for the Orleans Firebirds, trailing in this ball game 2-0 in the top of the 8th inning at Eldridge Park. Let's close the line on Angelo Smith. Southpaw from Michigan went 2 scoreless out of the pen, did not surrender a hit, walked 1 and struck out 3. Firebirds pitching has been sharp tonight. They've only given up 2 runs. Jake Eater able to work himself out of trouble. But it's the Firebirds who trail this ball game 2-0. Bottom third of the Falmouth lineup, Austin Langworthy, Steven Moretto, and Tim Tower to bat in this 8th inning. The Commodores lead the Firebirds 2-0 at Eldridge Park. And a new arm into the ball game for Orleans, it's David Steele, right-hander from Northeastern, set for his 4th appearance of the summer. First pitch from Steele to Austin Langworthy. Fastball taken on the outside corner for strike 1. Angelo Smith tossed 2 scoreless innings for the Orleans Firebirds. Did not surrender a hit, walked 1 and struck out 3. So a sharp outing for Smith, and now it's David Steele's turn to pass the baton. Right-hander set at the belt, 0-1 to the left-handed swinger. Breaking ball dips in low. It's 1-1. new catcher into the ball game as well for Orleans. David Avidia, the backstop from Grand Canyon, replaces Rob Emery behind the dish. So an all-David battery in the top of the 8th at Eldridge Park. Steele set at the chest. Roxon fires the 1-1. Breaking ball shot into shallow center field. Jacob Hurtubise coming in from center. Shortstop Shea Whitcomb going out. It's Whitcomb who makes the call on the catch for the first out of the inning. So a quick out for David Steele, and that will bring up Steven Moretto. The first baseman tonight is 2 for 3 with 2 extra base hits and a solo home run in the 4th. That solo blast put the Commodores up 2-0. And that's where this ball game stands at the moment. Moretto up to 203, just above the Mendoza line now this summer. First pitch from Steele. Breaking ball fools Moretto for strike 1. Commodores 2, Firebirds nothing. 1 away in the top of the 8th inning. Moretto was 1 for his last 14 before tonight, but has things back over the Mendoza line. Righty on righty matchup with 1 down. Steele set, the 0-1 home. Breaking ball skips in low, it's 1-1. Moretto, the number 1 third baseman in British Columbia in his class. Talked about when the Firebirds and the Commodores went at it on Canada Day on July 1st. It was Moretto who got the upper hand of a fellow Canadian, Noah Skiro. 1-1. Fastball tails outside. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. So Moretto hitting in the 8th spot tonight for Jeff Trundy's squad, but might receive a promotion in the nights to follow. Moretto has drove in one of the runs for the Commodores tonight with a solo blast, his 2nd of the summer, and scored the other run for Falmouth on an RBI double by Zach Deloach. 2-1. Breaking ball drops low and out of the zone. It's 3 balls and 1 strike. Firebirds pitching staff has been excellent tonight. They've yet to get anything from their offense in this ball game, and you got to credit the Falmouth Commodores. The way they've pitched during this 8-game win streak is impeccable. 3-1 the count to Moretto. The pitch from Steele. Fastball fouled back to the screen, and the count runs full. Falmouth during this 8-game win streak, they're outscoring their opponents 33-11. It's the reason why the Commodores have shot up the West Division ranks. Falmouth 43 points atop the West Division. They're 21-12-1. 4 points ahead of Wareham. Top 4 teams in the West have already clinched a playoff spot, with the Hyannis Harborhawks set to pack their bags home. 3-2 from Steele. Breaking ball popped out of play, and we'll do it again. Firebirds trail the Commodores 2-0 with 1 away in the top of the 8th inning. Orleans down to their final 6 outs at the plate. But we've seen multiple times this summer the Firebirds have been down, backs against the walls, and they have found ways to rally back. It would take a spark from who else but Julio Marcano, who's due up to lead the 8th. Here's the payoff once again. Fastball flared out of play, and the count stays at 3 balls and 2 strikes. So good battle here from David Steele and Steven Moretto, with Tim Tawa, the third baseman from Stanford, waiting on deck. Steele, the 6'1", 210-pound right-hander, originally from Manchester, Connecticut. Stares in for his sign. Now he's set with the glove near the belt. Here's the 3-2. Breaking ball drops chest low, ball 4. Moretto twirls the bat towards the third base dugout. Steele issues a free pass, and that'll bring up Tim Tawa. So David Steele unable to win the battle against Steven Moretto, and what a job well done by Moretto. Count 3-2. Drew 8 pitches to work a 1-out free pass. And now Tawa will dig in for the 4th time tonight. Infield shifted up the middle, trying to turn 2. First pitch. Fastball spots just low on the outside part of the plate for ball 1. Kelly Nicholson sharing some words with the home plate umpire, Alan Liberdoni. We saw it last night as well that neither side was pleased with the balls and strikes.
I was about to say that last night as well. A couple words being exchanged.
Moretto aboard at first with 1 away. Commodores on top 2-0. 1-0. Breaking ball clobbered out to deep left field. Trani ranging back, has room in front of the fence, makes the grab for a loud out number 2.
Yeah, another hard hit ball that just stays in the ballpark here for Orleans. It's a big out as well, trying to get the bats going here. But again, we saw Falmouth yesterday put up a couple insurance runs in the 9th inning. And if Orleans didn't give up those runs, they would have had the tying run come up to the dish in the 9th. So I think it's the major key here for the Birds is just trying to limit the damage. Keep the lead or the deficit at 2, and good things can happen.
So now Hayden Cantrell will dig in for the 5th time tonight. Commodores leading the Firebirds 2-0 with 1 away in the top of the 8th. Cantrell 1 for 3, first pitch. Fastball up and away, taken for ball 1. Cantrell a single in the 3rd, reached on a walk in the 4th. Also got on in the 6th thanks to an error before being gunned down, if you will, on a batter's interference to end the 6th. Cantrell switched around to the left side with a righty on the bump, 1-0. Fastball shot down out of play, and it's 1-1. First 4 plate appearances for Cantrell were from the right side. Faced 2 southpaws, Jake Eater and Angelo Smith. Now he's got David Steele as Kelly Nicholson continues to piece this sharp pitching staff together. Commodores 2, Firebirds nothing in the top of the 8th. 1-1. Breaking ball in the dirt. Fools Cantrell. It's 1-2. Good block down by David Avidia, who came into this ball game at the top half of this inning. And the league sent out a notice earlier today that every game in the regular season that's left for every team will not go into extra innings. That might change your strategy as a head coach just a little bit. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball, cut on and miss, strike 3. Sharp off speed at 78 miles an hour. Fools Cantrell, and the side is retired. A shutdown inning by David Steele as he works around a 1-out free pass. Falmouth Commodores score no runs, no hits, no errors. They leave 1 runner left on base. After 7.5 at Eldridge Park, it's Falmouth 2, Orleans nothing. Listen to Falmouth and Firebirds on the Birds Broadcast Network. Firebirds down to their final 6 outs on their home turf. The Falmouth Commodores lead the Orleans Firebirds 2-0 as we go to the last of the 8th in Orleans, Massachusetts. New arm into the ball game for the Falmouth Commodores. It's the southpaw from Yukon, Caleb Worcester, set to make his 9th appearance of this summer. Birds need a bloop and a blast to tie this ball game up. They'll have 9-1-2 to up in the frame. Worcester set at the chest. First pitch to Julio Marcano. Fastball taken low for ball 1. We can close the line on Christian Edwards, the right-hander from Jacksonville State, in his Cape debut. 2 scoreless innings, did not surrender a hit, walked 1 and struck out 3. Worcester rocks and fires 1-0. Fastball fouled back to the netting. It's 1-1. Worcester 2-1 on the summer with a 1.54 ERA. His last appearance came against the Orleans Firebirds 6 days ago at Gov Fuller Field. Tossed a scoreless frame and struck out 1. And it's been all zeros for Worcester in the month of July. The 1-1. Breaking ball flutters low. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Worcester had a June to forget. Gave up 2 earned runs and 2 1/3. But in July, something clicked. Has yet to surrender an earned run in 9 1/3 innings pitched. The Rhode Island native rocks and fires 2-1. Fastball up and away. It's 3 balls and 1 strike.
And well, he comes out of UConn, and that's a school in the Northeast that has had a lot of success in the recent years, and a lot of guys coming to the Cape as well. Just thinking of Mason Field. A lot of good pitchers for UConn over the years.
Of course, Jacob Wallace on the Cape last summer with the Bourne Braves, taken very high in this year's draft. 3-1, fastball. Catch the outside corner. The count runs full. So Falmouth 2, Orleans nothing. Last of the 8th at Eldridge Park. Marcano, who has been a spark for the Birds tonight, and since he's returned to Orleans. 1 for 2, a single back in the 3rd. Here's the payoff pitch. Fastball taken outside, ball 4. Julio Marcano continues to do it all. Works a leadoff free pass. And now Jacob Hurtubise, the tying run at the plate.
And now, of course, the third baseman, Tawa, coming in on the grass because Hurtubise is at the dish. You know the Firebirds are going to want to manufacture a run.
Hurtubise not known for his power at all. He's known for getting on base and has done it at a high clip throughout his collegiate career. A .541 on base percentage this past spring at Army. Will he be asked to bunt, however, despite the Firebirds trailing 2-0. First pitch, he's squaring around, pulls it back on a fastball off the plate for ball 1.
And there is a large hole on the right side of the infield. Hayden Control playing double play depth up the middle. Hurtubise a lefty. Wide gap, but opting to bunt on that first pitch.
You might see him bunted up the first base side and try and reach with a single. He bunted for a base hit back in the 3rd. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Marcano on at first, nobody down in the 8th. 1-0 home. He's swinging, lines us down the left field line. It's a fair ball. Marcano takes off for second. He's galloping around the bases into 3rd. It's a flare double down the left field line. Jacob Hurtubise does it again, and the Birds have tying runs in scoring position with nobody out.
Only a Jacob Hurtubise double down the left field line with his speed. He's like a Mustang going in towards second base, trotting down there. And now, as you mentioned before, Firebirds tying run over at second base. Go ahead at the dish, and Josh Zamora is a pinch hitter.
So Kelly Nicholson will swap in Josh Zamora for Zach Kokoska. A pinch hitter for the Orleans Firebirds in a prime situation. Commodores 2, Firebirds nothing. 2 in scoring position, which would tie the game assuredly on a single with Hurtubise's speed. Josh Zamora batting a .156 this summer, but he has shown plenty of pop at the plate. 3 home runs for Zamora in limited action. Worst of the southpaw set, rocking back and forth. Here's the first pitch home. Fastball dots the inside corner for strike 1. Now, despite some struggles for Zamora, he hits left-handed pitching very well. Bats an even .250 with all 3 of his home runs coming off southpaws. He's got a lefty on the mound right here with Hurtubise aboard at second and Marcano 90 feet away. Falmouth with their infield back, conceding the run up 2-0 in the last of the 8th. The 0-1. Breaking ball hit hard to the left side. Gloved by the third baseman. Tawa shifting to his left. He'll throw to first as Marcano retreats back to the bag. Looked like Falmouth might concede the run, but Marcano played it safe, hustled back to the third base bag on an unproductive first down.
Well, with the way this Commodores defense has been playing, you don't want to try to tempt them and try to gun a runner out of the home. They did twice yesterday, threw out 2 runners, one at the dish and one over at third base. Seen some arms from the outfield, but this one's staying in the infield. I think it's a safe play. Hold your ground at third base and wait for the next hitter.
So now Max Troiani, who has been a hit machine this summer for the Orleans Firebirds, will dig in. A hit in this at-bat might tie this ball game up. Tying run in scoring position, the go-ahead run at the plate. It's Falmouth 2, Orleans nothing in the last of the 8th. Troiani 0 for his last 7 at the dish this summer, but tied for first in the Cape in batting average. Worcester's first pitch. Breaking ball misses and low. Trying to lift up his right foot to get out of the way for ball 1.
And we'll sit him on the cleat there, the back right foot.
Troiani, 39 hits this summer. That's tied for 5th on the Cape. 38 have been singles. I think Orleans would take a base hit right here. Hurtubise on second. Marcano leads off of third base. Third baseman Tim Tawa holding him on, and now Worcester steps off the rubber. It's Falmouth 2, Orleans nothing. Bottom half of the 8th at Eldridge Park. Worcester long stare in. Southpaw set. Third base side of the rubber. Here's the 1-0. Fastball catches the inside corner. Troiani doesn't like the call. It's 1-1. So Caleb Worcester, who hasn't surrendered an earned run in his last 6 appearances, trying to keep it that way for the Falmouth Commodores. Falmouth looking to make it 9 wins in a row. 1-1. Breaking ball hit hard to the left side. The shortstop Cruz fields it. Spin around, throw to first. In time. A heck of a play by Trey Cruz to gun down Max Troiani, but it brings home Julio Marcano as Troiani cuts the deficit in half. It's 2-1 here in the 8th.
Well, we have seen a couple plays this year made by Cape League infielders. The other one I can think of is Nick Gonzalez at second base making a similar play to take away an RBI. This one takes away an RBI, but it does score 1 for the Firebirds. But if that ball goes into center field, that's scoring 2.
So now Jacob Hurtubise, who scampered 90 feet away. He's on third base, represents the tying run. Zach Britton, the go-ahead run at the plate. Lefty on lefty matchup with 2 down. First pitch. Breaking ball. Catches the inside corner for strike 1. Britton 1 for 3 tonight and leads the Firebirds in RBIs this summer. 16 runs driven in for the rising junior from Louisville. Southpaw Worcester set, and Britton asks for time. Trying to disrupt the rhythm of Worcester, who's gotten into a groove this summer on the bump for the Falmouth Commodores. Just the first earned run given up in the month of July. Hurtubise 90 feet away. Wild pitch, pass ball would tie this game up. Britton staying cool on the left side. 0-1. Breaking ball, waved out and missed. It's 0-2. Britton this summer with a runner in scoring position. Bats .480. He has been the guy the Birds have relied on to drive in runs in the heart of their lineup. Max Troiani brought home 1 with an RBI groundout. Has cut this ball game in half. Falmouth 2, Orleans 1. Tying run 90 feet away in the last of the 8th inning. Worcester set at the chest. The 0-2 home. Fastball up and away. Dropped by the catcher, Claunch. Rolls about 3 feet away. Not far enough for Hurtubise to scamper home. It's 1-2.
And Hurtubise with not being held on by Tawa, and for good reason. He's got some speed down there on the third base bag, and anything that gets past the catcher, you know Hurtubise with that secondary, he's going to score.
Saw it a couple times this past spring at the college level in general. A man try and steal home to tie a ball game up.
I was going to say before this AB with his speed.
Worcester's working out of the stretch. His back to the runner, Hurtubise at third base. He was dancing off the bag trying to draw a balk. 1-2 the count to Zach Britton. Louisville Cardinal trying to tie this ball game up. 1-2 pitch. Fastball down low, knocked down by Claunch. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now, in fact, Zach Britton's college teammate and former Orleans Firebird, Logan Wyatt, stole home this past spring. After a mound meeting against the Miami Hurricanes, Logan Wyatt, who's known for his discipline at the plate and his strong bat, showed off the wheels and stole home.
Don't see that every day.
Jacob Hurtubise, the Patriot League career leader in stolen bases, I'm sure has thought about it before. Worster set at the chest. 2-2 to Britton. Breaking ball, cut on and miss, strike 3. Big strikeout for Caleb Worster. Keeps the Firebirds tally at 1, but not before Orleans cuts the deficit in half on the RBI groundout by Max Stroiani. Orleans scores 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and they leave 1 runner left on base. Well, to the top of the 9th, it's Falmouth 2, Orleans 1. You're listening to Firebirds Baseball on the Birds Broadcast Network. Final inning from Eldridge Park in Orleans, Massachusetts. We will not go to extras anymore in the regular season. Trying to conserve some arms with all the days jumbled up together. It's Falmouth 2, Orleans 1. First pitch from David Steele to Blake Dunn. Breaking ball taken on the outside corner for strike 1. So with all of the rain in the month of June, it's clobbered up games in July. 9 games in the next 7 days for the Orleans Firebirds, and many teams just the same. Steele set at the belt. The 0-1 from the right-hander. Dunn shows bunt, whiffs right through a breaking ball. It's 0-2. 2, 3, and 4 in the inning for Falmouth with Zach Deloach and Trey Cruz to follow. We'll have the count now 1 ball and 1 strike to Dunn. Got the benefit from the home plate umpire, Alan Libertoni. 1-1 the count. Steele set at the belt. Here's the pitch home. Breaking ball cut on and miss. Got a piece. It's now 1-2. So Dunn's 0 for 3 tonight. Make it 0 for 4 on the batter's interference. And for Dunn, he played a big part in that game last night, hitting a 2-run bomb in the 9th inning to put the game out of reach. Just a 1-run lead here tonight. Gonna hit another 9th inning home run one night later. 1-2. Breaking ball looks aimless at the dish. Waved at and missed for strike 3. Steele fooled Dunn. Back-to-back Ks for the right-hander from Northeastern, and there's 1 away.
Yeah, David Steele continues to look sharp on the mound for the Firebirds, and this is a big spot because just here last night, as you mentioned before, Commodores put up 3 runs in the top of the 9th inning to really put the game out of reach for the Birds.
So now Zach Deloach, right fielder from Texas A&M. 3 for 4 tonight with an RBI double. First pitch home. Breaking ball fools Deloach, almost down to an 8 for strike 1. Deloach's last time up, crushed a ball to right field. Eldridge Park held it in and kept this at a 2-1 ball game. There's one away in the top of the 9th. On the Firebirds' home turf, looking to stop an 8-game win streak for the Falmouth Commodores. Steele set of the belt. The 0-1 from the right-hander. Breaking ball stays upstairs, and it's 1-1. Doom up for the Firebirds in the last of the 9th. It'll be Shea Whitcomb, Eddie McCabe, and David Avidia. Now we know, because the Cape Cod Baseball League has issued out a notice to the entire league and the 10 teams across the Cape, there will be no extras the rest of the regular season. You might think about using a pinch hitter because, you know, doesn't matter about the defense from there on out. 1-1 smoked down the right side, but just foul. It's 1-2. So, for example, if Kelly Nicholson wants to use a pinch hitter in the inning, we'll give the example just because Rob Emery was already in the ballgame and the Firebirds have no other catchers, it wouldn't matter if he is the pinch hitter for David Avidia.
You can really play around with the lineup card there if you're Kelly Nicholson.
Gives you a little more flexibility. Now, the same thing is for Falmouth. They can bring in every defensive replacement they want because they know this game will not go beyond the 9th, regardless of the score, even if Orleans does find a way to tie it up. Right now, it's Falmouth 2, Orleans 1. 1-2 the count to Deloach. Here's the pitch from Steele. Fastball on the inside corner, ring him up, strike 3. 91 heater. Dotted the inside part. Deloach goes down looking. 3 consecutive Ks for Steele, and there's 2 down.
I mean, it's fun to watch, and we saw Steele last time at Falmouth do something similar. Struck out 2 Commodores in an inning, and he's doing it here now in the 9th inning, striking out 3 dating back to the 8th inning.
And now he'll face Trey Cruz, who might have saved this lead for the Falmouth Commodores. Cruz made a spectacular play in the last half inning to keep it at just an RBI ground out. First pitch. Fastball up and in for ball 1. Commodores a 2-1 lead over the Firebirds with 2 down in the top of the 9th. Cruz has been aboard 3 times tonight. A single sandwiched between a couple of walks for the shortstop from Rice. Cruz batting from the left side with the right-hander on the bump. Switch hitting middle infielder, 1 out. Breaking ball cut it and missed. It's 1-1. Now you think about the Firebirds' offensive weapons at the dish, potential pinch hitters if Orleans elect to go that route. You have Trevin Esquer, who we've seen hit a home run this summer. You have Tanner Murray as well. Both guys have shown the power potential. Steele set the 1-1. Breaking ball fools Cruz. He swings over the top. It's 1-2. So David Steele 1 strike away from striking at the side here in the 9th, giving the Birds some momentum heading into the last half inning at Eldridge Park. Right now it's Falmouth 2, Orleans 1. It'll be 5, 6, and 7 for the Birds in the bottom half. 1-2 the count to Trey Cruz. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball, cut on and missed, strike 3. David Steele strikes out the side of the 9th, racks up 4 Ks in a row, and the right-hander from Northeastern struts off the mound with some swag towards the first base dugout. Orleans will try and tie this ball game up, if not try and walk it off in the last of the 9th. It's Falmouth 2, Orleans 1. You're listening to Firebirds Baseball on the Birds Broadcast Network. Here's pitch number 8 of the AB. 2-2, flared into straightaway center for a base knock. 2-1. Fastball skied out to left field. Left fielder Galland ranging back. He's at the warning track looking up, and this ball is gone. Talk about a way to break out of a slump. A 2-run blast for Josh Zamora. He ends his 1-for-17 skid, and the Birds are tied with the Mariners. It's 2-2 in the 3rd. 1-2. Breaking ball fisted off the end of the bat by Hurtubise. That's going to drop down for a base hit. 2-1. Fastball hard chop to the left side. Past the dive of the shortstop, Hal Hughes, into left field for a base hit. The Firebirds take the lead on an RBI single by Max Troiani. Here's the 0-1. Fastball crushed deep left field. Galland ranging back. He's looking up. This one drops down. This ball is gone. A 2-run home run by Shea Whitcomb. The second of the inning for the Orleans Firebirds. A 5-run frame makes it a 5-2 game. First pitch. Fastball crushed out to deep right field. Weimer ranging back. Marshak looking up. This ball caroms off the fence. Emery cruising into second base. Now Kelly Nicholson's Going to ask the umpires to see if this went over the wall and came back into play.
And it is.
And it is a home run. A solo shot off the bat of Rob Emery. The home runs continue to rain down at Eldridge Park. Their third blast of the inning, and Orleans has a 6-2 lead. One last chance for the Orleans Firebirds. Falmouth 2, Orleans 1. Last of the ninth at Eldridge Park. And Falmouth will bring their hard-throwing closer into the ball game, Zach Brixey. The Virginia Tech Hokie 6 for 6 in save opportunities this summer. And he'll face 5, 6, and 7 for the Orleans Firebirds. First pitch to Shea Whitcomb. Hard fastball up and away for a ball 1. Let's close the line on Caleb Worster. He went 1 inning, gave up 1 hit, 1 run. It was earned. Walked 1 and struck out 1. Whitcomb 1 for 3 tonight. Leads the Firebirds in home runs this summer with 5. 1 out. Hard fastball clobbered to the left side. Right at the shortstop Cruz. Fields it, throws to first in time. And the Birds down to their final 2 outs.
That was a hard hit ground ball, and it could easily ate up Cruz, but stays down on it. And makes a strong throw to first to retire Whitcomb.
So now Eddie McCabe, third baseman from Georgetown. Has yet to hit a home run this summer, but he has found ways to get on base during the recent stretch. Eddie, a single in the 4th, extended his on-base streak to 16 consecutive ball games. First pitch from Brixey. Breaking ball tapped third base side, foul for strike 1. Falmouth 2, Orleans 1. The Birds down to their final 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. The Commodores looking to make it 9 straight wins and take the season series 3-1 over the Firebirds. Brixey winds and fires 0-1 to McCabe. Breaking ball stays upstairs. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. McCabe this past spring at Georgetown, 5 homers in 56 games. Has yet to hit one on the Cape. Brixey has given up 2 in 9 appearances. 1-1. Hard fastball up in the zone. McCabe swings the sword through it. It's 1-2.
You could tell McCabe wanted that fastball, just couldn't quite decide out whether he wanted to hit it or not.
So McCabe in all Big East first team selection unstraps the batting gloves. Now digs back in from the right side. Zach Brixey has been nails all summer long for the Falmouth Commodores. 1-2. Fastball taken on the outside corner. Strike 3 called. 95 miles an hour on the gun. Dots the outside edge. And the Birds are down to their final out.
That's what Brixey has been doing all year long here on the Cape. Fires a fastball that just catches the knees and catches McCabe looking.
So now David Avidia, who came in as a defensive replacement in the 8th inning, will take his first hacks of the night. Avidia reached base last night with a double in a 1-for-2 ball game. He's the last out for the Birds. First pitch. Breaking ball. Drops in on the heart of the plate for strike 1. Falmouth 2, Orleans 1. Firebirds down to their final out at Eldridge Park. Avidia has an OBP of 296. 0-1. Fastball upstairs. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. And that's the good eye we've seen from the catcher this summer. That OBP nearly 130 points higher than the average. That'll get the job done, and boy, would the Firebirds take a 2-out walk to extend this game and put the winning run at the plate. 1-1 from Brixey. Fastball spiked low. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Brixey, the right-hander from Virginia Tech, faced the Firebirds earlier this summer. Picked up a save for the Falmouth Commodores back on July 20th, but he did give up a solo home run. It's one of the 2 blasts he's given up this summer. 2-1 the count, the pitch. Fastball up in the zone. Avidia fans through, and the Birds down to their final strike.
Well, that would have been a storyline if Shea Whitcomb hit that home run, hit one here in the 9th.
You've seen Shea do it before, unable to come through this time, But now the game rests on the shoulders of David Avedia. Birds down to their final strike. Falmouth 2, Orleans 1. Last of the ninth at Eldridge Park. Brixey winds and fires 2-2. Fastball skied right side. First baseman Steven Moretta ranging towards the netting down the right field line. This will drift out of play, and David Avedia lives to see another pitch.
Firebirds get a second life here in this half inning.
Avedia starting to figure things out at the dish. Ripped a hard ball off the fence last night that almost left the yard. Has yet to go deep this summer, but hit 4 home runs at Grand Canyon this past spring. Brixey a deep breath. The 2-2. Breaking ball in there, called strike 3. Zach Brixey drops the hook, and David Avedia goes down looking. Kelly Nicholson and the Orleans Firebirds can't believe it. Make it 9 wins in a row for the Falmouth Commodores as the Doors top the Birds at Eldridge Park 2-1.
A tough call to go out on, but Brixey strikes out the final 2 Firebirds in this half inning. But as we always say, there's always some positive to take away from this ball game. It was the bullpen. 4 strikes combined between Angelo Smith and David Steele. Combined for no hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. Jake Eater as well pitched 5 solid innings on the hill, but ran into some trouble. Only allowed 2 runs, though, and he at least gave him a shot to win this ball game. We'll take a look around the Cape League here just to give you an update in that Harwich and YD game. It was 4-3 Harwich in the 8th inning. YD scores 1 run in the 9th inning. Harwich gets the leadoff runner on at second base to start off the 9th inning after an error by the second baseman in Hall. And unfortunately, the Mariners, they can't quite get the runner in. Strike out to Hal Hughes. Weimer intentionally walked in a fly out. Pop out to the catcher, and Cavada strikes out, swinging to end the ball game. So Harwich had the lineup they wanted in that half inning, just unfortunately could not get the runner across. And similar story here in this ball game here in Orleans. The Firebirds had a couple opportunities in this ball game to tie things up. You know, probably their greatest one, first and second in the 4th. Couldn't get across the run. Marcano over at third base gets caught in a rundown after the Firebirds tries a squeeze play in the 3rd. And then you mentioned the 8th inning. Had a chance in that 8th. After getting the leadoff 2-man on with runners on 2nd and 3rd, they can only get 1 across and not both runs. But that is baseball as the Commodores, they're a hot team on the Cape. So final line here tonight. Commodores score 2 runs on 8 hits and 1 error. Firebirds 1 run on 6 hits and 1 error in this ball game. As Scotty Gange is set down on the first base side with David Steele. So Scotty, we'll send over to you.
Thomas, thanks, buddy. Here with the Birds, baller of the game, Mr. David Steele. You waited 7 innings to get out there, throw 2 awesome innings. You struck out the side in the top of the 9th. How great does that feel for you?
It felt great for me personally, but honestly, I just wanted to win the game, and it kind of sucks that we didn't, but I just tried to give myself, or do the best that I could so that we could come back in that bottom of the 9th.
Yeah, you just mentioned that, you know, it was getting it for the team. Unfortunately, you guys couldn't score that run on third base in the 8th or get anything going in the 9th inning, but to get the team prepared and ready and keeping this game as close as you kept it, how important do you think that was for the squad?
I thought it was pretty important. I mean, every time I go out, I try to do that no matter what situation it is because this team is so good. The hitters are so good. You can come back at any time, and I just try to give them that opportunity.
I know you guys are playing a lot of baseball. Everybody's a little tired out here. You know, we were over 30 games, over 35 games into the season with 44 total. But for you tonight, with being able to strike out 3 guys in the 9th inning, if you could pinpoint one thing that was working especially well for you today, what would you think it would be?
I think going inside on guys and throwing my slider down the zone really helped. Usually that's when I have my best success.
I'm always interested in the fact that you waited 7 innings. You know, you warm up before the game, then you wait 7 innings, and then you pitch 2 masterful innings like you were just warm and ready to go for all those hours. How do you stay focused throughout that game so that you can shine in your moment?
I mean, this is what we do every day in and out, and if you're not focused, then you shouldn't be here. So I just try to get locked in as soon as the first pitch starts and see what time I'm going to go in.
A team that's built around resiliency, and I know that a 2-1 loss today isn't going to do anything as a team. You guys have 2 more games tomorrow. Looking forward, what do you see in the Firebirds coming out tomorrow in your doubleheader?
I think I'm going to come out with a lot of energy. I mean, we just lost 2 to these guys, and we probably shouldn't have. They're a really good team, but we have a lot of talent, and I think we're going to come out and do some really good things in the doubleheader tomorrow.
Regardless of the score tonight, you were masterful, David. Congratulations to you, and we're excited to see you for the rest of the season, man. Thanks for the time.
Thanks.
Thomas, will send it back to you, buddy.
And thank you, Scott. I'm joined by here the other Bird baller of the game, Angelo Smith from Michigan. Angelo, thank you for joining me here tonight on the Birds broadcast.
My pleasure.
Angelo, we'll get right into it. You were fantastic out of the bullpen tonight. 2 innings, don't allow a hit, 1 walk, and 3 punch-outs. Now, you make your second appearance against Falmouth. What's the challenge, or how does that help you on the hill?
My first outing against them wasn't so good, so I needed to bounce back quick. So I did that tonight, just about pounding the zone and using my off-speed, get me ahead in the counts.
Definitely got ahead in the counts. A lot of swing and miss stuff as well. There was one ball almost finished behind. I believe it was Morano from the hitter. It's like a Chris Sale-esque type of slider.
Yeah.
Right there. I've been talking about, Sky was talking with David Steele from Northeastern. You guys combine to go 4 innings, only don't allow a hit, 2 walks, and 7 punch-outs. What does that tell you about this Orleans bullpen out there?
We're tough. We mentally tough, physically tough. We just throw a lot of strikes and attack the hitter. So.
And you played your college ball at Michigan. Make it all the way to the College World Series in the final game, unfortunately fall to Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
What's the competition like, difference maybe between the College World Series and here on Cape Cod, or how similar is it?
It's very similar. College World Series is full of competitors and good competition, and same with the Cape. So I just try to come out here with the same attitude and ready to attack.
And now you've made a couple appearances, starting to feel more comfortable on the mound here on Cape Cod. Has there been a difference, really? Maybe you changed something over the summer from your first inning on Cape Cod, or has it been really the same for most of the summer?
I've just really been keeping it the same, just trying to stay consistent, just trusting my stuff, no matter if I have a bad outing or a good outing. So, yeah, that's the key.
Thank you very much,
No
Angelo.
problem.
Thank you for joining me here
No
on the Birds
problem.
Broadcast
Yep.
Network. Again, that was Angelo Smith, southpaw from Michigan, here on the Birds Broadcast Network, as Scotty Gange is getting set on the first base dugout once again. This time along with Alec Kendon, our beat writer, as Scotty Gange sets things up down there. As Scotty and Alec are ready to go behind the dugout. So, Scotty, we'll send it over to you.
Thomas, thanks, buddy. We're actually on Twitter. We're going Bird's Eye View post-game show live here, and we're going Bird's Eye View post-game show live there, and then live there. So 3 cameras, all to get us just completely dizzy and all that. But here with team writer Alec, and Alec, a 2-1 loss for the Firebirds. Of course, not something that you would want to see if you're a Firebirds fan coming into tonight, but a lot of positive takeaways. Let's start right there. What can we take away from this game positively for the men in red?
Well, the bullpen was tremendous. They threw 4 innings. They didn't allow a single hit. David Steele, who threw the last 2 innings, had 4 strikeouts, struck out the side in the top of the 9th. He was electric. Angelo Smith had his 3rd consecutive really, really good outing after a couple tough ones to begin his Orleans career. So really impressive to see for everyone. The bullpen was throwing really well. Jake Eater had a tough outing by his standards because he hadn't allowed a run prior to his first 3 appearances with the Firebirds. 5 innings, 2 runs, still really good. But that's a very good offense over there. That's a very good team. They've won 9 games in a row for a reason. And for the Firebirds, it's a tough loss, but you hung with them, and eventually baseball, they're going to start rolling your way. You're going to get breaks and stuff, but unfortunately it wasn't tonight. But lucky for them, they have 2 games against the Brewster Whitecaps tomorrow to get back on track.
Yeah, going to touch on those 2 games in a little bit, but we'd be remiss if we did not mention really how good the Falmouth Commodores are right now in this broadcast. I mean, yes, the 2-1 win was very close, but this is a team, as you said, Alec, 9 straight wins. Their offense is firing. Their starting pitching is perhaps one of the best in the league, and their relieving core is just absolutely relentless. Tonight, out of the Falmouth Commodores, what impressed you most?
Well, their starter, Carmen Molchinski, 5 shutout innings. The first time he pitched against Orleans, he didn't give up a hit in 5 innings. So there was a bit of an improvement there as they got some base runners and had opportunities, unfortunately couldn't cash in. 8th inning, Julio Marcano walks to begin the inning. Jacob Hurtubise with a well-placed double has runners on 2nd and 3rd with nobody out. And you got to really score more than 1 run in this situation. So it's tough. You only get the 1. You get it closer. You make it a tough ball game. But unfortunately, it was only the 1 run, and they needed a couple more than that, and it was the difference in the game tonight.
Got to tip your cap to Zach DeLoach also. 3 hits with an RBI as well, and a really important one is the fact that it was a 2-1 ball game. You know, Jake Eater, he did well up on the bump tonight, but just a few missed pitches, a home run earlier in the game. But he did well. Out of him, what can you take away from his performance for Jake Eater?
Well, Jake, he wasn't missing as many bats as we were accustomed to see early in the season, but I think he pitched really well around traffic. He stranded the bases loaded one inning. He stranded 2 guys on 1 inning. So it could have been a lot worse in a lot of situations, but he really was able to buckle down and get some key outs when he needed to, and he did that tonight. Because you're not always going to have your A game like he's had in his first couple starts for the Firebirds. And when he proved that tonight, he was still able to get outs in key situations, and he gave his team a chance to win the ball game all the way to the final out. Unfortunately, like we've talked about it before, they just weren't able to get it done. But there's 2 more games tomorrow night, Scotty.
Hey, let's touch on those 2 games, of course. Yes, 2-1 final, 6 hits for the Firebirds, 8 hits for the Commodores. We're going to end that because there's 2 straight losses to the Commodores, but you always have to look for the most important thing about baseball. The most important game in the game of baseball is the next game,
Yes,
and that's what the Firebirds have tomorrow, and 2 games at the Brewster Whitecaps. What do we expect to see tomorrow?
Well, I think they'll play with some urgency. This is a team that's chasing the standings. We know Brewster's going to come out hungry, looking to try to make a statement, because Orleans, that's a team that they're chasing. And so Orleans, they can really make a huge statement if they're able to sweep or even just take 1 game on the road. Brewster's a team, they're 2-1 against them so far early in the season, or I should say late in the season now. We haven't seen them since the early part of the season, so there'll be 3 straight games against Brewster to close out the season series. And there'll just be another opportunity. It's a nice close game to home. Wash away this tough loss against Falmouth, because this is a really, really good team, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go a long way in the Cape League postseason. So another opportunity tomorrow against a lesser opponent, and hopefully the Firebirds can find their way back in their winning ways.
Yeah, as Alex said, the Brewster Whitecaps, they're in last place in the Eastern Division, and so, away from just the fact that baseball, you like to win baseball games, it's also huge in terms of standings. The Harwich Mariners are short behind the Orleans Firebirds in 3rd place right now. Of course, the way the Cape Cod Baseball League works, for all those watching up top that may not know, 4 of the top 5 teams in each division make the playoffs. The Brewster Whitecaps, if the season were to end today, that would be over. Their season would be over, and the Firebirds would be playing the YD Red Sox. In terms of standings tomorrow, you have to believe tomorrow's a huge, huge day for the Firebirds.
Absolutely. You want to take advantage against a lesser team. Firebirds have seemed like they've been a team that isn't afraid to go out and win games on the road. They've beaten Brewster once already at Stony Brook Field, and there'll be another opportunity to show themselves. Because last time we were there, Scotty, we didn't get to play. We just had an awesome dunk contest, which was a lot of fun, but it's been a while since we played a baseball game there. So an opportunity for the Firebirds to play an early doubleheader, play some afternoon games under the sun, and get back on track. Watch this one away. This one, it's in the rearview mirror. There's 2 more tomorrow, Scotty. I'm pumped. Are you?
I'm excited. I'm really excited because the Brewster Whitecaps also have some stars on their team. Guys like TJ Collette, who can hit the ball 1,000 miles. Guys like Gage Workman and Brett Auerbach, who are co-MVPs in the All-Star game just a short week ago. With those 3 guys, 3 big-time stars on the Cape League and on the Cape right now, how do you combat that if you're Orleans?
Well, it's going to be the pitching staff. It's been the pitching staff all season. It was the pitching staff yesterday. It was the pitching staff tonight, only allowing 2 runs. You're just going to have to throw a ton of strikes. Isaac Esqueda is the scheduled starter for Game 1 tomorrow. He's been tremendous throughout the whole season. I wouldn't expect that to change tomorrow. He's going to throw a ton of strikes. He's going to throw a bunch of pitches that move off barrels, which he's done all season. He won't overpower the Whitecaps hitters, but they got a big opportunity for Brewster. They're playing for a bunch. But and if you're the Orleans Firebirds, you just want to put them to bed early. You win that first one, it makes them a lot more difficult for them the rest of the way. So I expect Isaac Esqueda to keep doing what he's been doing all summer, and that's going to be very good on the mound.
Yeah, he's a guy that's going to be absolutely locked in. It's always fun to see him before. He's going to have the Beats headphones on, sunglasses on. Nobody talked to Isaac tomorrow because he'll be locked in, so that'll be exciting to see. And Jamie Quinn, he said the hardest thing to do in baseball is to win both games of a doubleheader, and the Firebirds are going to have that opportunity tomorrow. It's going to be really exciting. But, Alec, before we let you go, we're going to do a 1-2 switcheroo, bring in our broadcaster, Mr. Josh White. Before we let you go, I said.
Okay, sorry. I
Give me a preview of a short hop tonight.
Oh, okay, that's a good one. Well, David Steele, and he was tremendous. 2 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts. But how about the bullpen? 4 innings, no hits. Yeah. That's pretty cool. That's not something you see every day. And for a team, if they're going to make a deep postseason run, it goes all through the bullpen across all levels of baseball. And if the bullpen keeps firing like it is right now, I like the Firebirds' chances once we get to August.
1-2 switcheroo, buckaroo, get out of here. Alec Hendon, thank you so much. The team writer, Alec Hendon, to the Twitter world watching on right now. We're in the Bird's Eye View post-game show. You're on the table. You're right in front of us. Josh White, team broadcaster. Welcome in. 2-1 loss. Let's start right there. What'd you learn tonight out of the Orleans Firebirds?
First off, there's a lot of cameras going on right now. We got there, we got there, we got there. Scotty Gaines, man.
Look that way.
Okay, so I'm going to look. No, I'm totally kidding. But, yeah, we learned a lot about Orleans tonight, and it's going to sound weird. And I'm going to sit here and tell you there were a lot of positives tonight. And it's hard to say there's positives. You lose 2-1. You've lost 2 games in a row. You just got to tip your cap to the Falmouth Commodores, who have won 9 games in a row. And Orleans did some really great things tonight, but Falmouth caught a lot of really lucky breaks. You think about the play where Shea Whitcomb rockets a ball right at the first baseman. Guy makes the catch because it's right at him and steps on the bag for a double play. You can think about even Jake Eater. This game could have been 6-0, 7-0, something like that in the middle innings. And Jake Eater says, hey, I'm going to stay cool, calm, collected. Our guy Paige Thompson said he's always that way. And he was tonight. I mean, he didn't have his best stuff, and I'm sure if you ask him that, he'd tell you the same thing. But that's a good sign of a really good pitcher, is when they don't have their best stuff, they're able to get through 5 innings and only give up 2 runs. And how about the bullpen? That was spectacular to see between David Steele and Angelo Smith in the other order, the way they came out of the pen. But 4 innings of hitless baseball. That's about as good as it gets. And even it extends to the 9th inning. In the 8th inning, Max Stroiani has that ground ball back at the box with Jacob Hurtubise on second. Anything into center field is 2 runs. And the guy makes a great play at shortstop. It's just a Falmouth team that had everything going right. And there's a reason why they've won 9 games in a row. You don't win 9 games in a row just by being good. You need to be good and have some luck.
Hey, it really is good to be great, and that's what the Falmouth Commodores are right now. Everything, and that happens in baseball, everything's going their way. They're making nice plays when they need to be made. You know, the balls are falling in the right direction. They're hitting bombs, too, and their bullpen and their pitching staff is fantastic. But that's the end of Falmouth tonight. Let's touch on Brewster tomorrow. It's a big-time doubleheader and one that can really define this season.
Yeah, it's almost moving Saturday, if you will, in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Doubleheader tomorrow, Orleans, Brewster. Firebirds in 3rd place right now. But there's some noise going on at Harwich and YD. The game just got tied up in the 9th inning. RBI single for Wyatt Young off of Joe Boyle. So depending on that way that game goes, the Firebirds might only be 1 point up on Harwich in the 4th spot. And you've got Brewster, and we always see every single summer with the Brewster Whitecaps, they look like they're the worst team in the East Division. Last week or 2 of the season, they go on a red-hot tear. They won the dang thing a couple years back, and they were the 4th seed in the East. They went from 4, they beat the 1 seed, they kept moving on, and they won the whole thing. So you can never really sleep on Jamie Shevchik's squad. You saw the last time they were at Eldridge Park, they had quite the day, the Brewster Whitecaps, in terms of Brett Auerbach and Gage Workman. They combined to go 5 for 5 in the All-Star game. Auerbach walked it off, an inside-the-park 2-run shot by Gage Workman. So I'm sure Bruce will be fired up to play. They know how much that game means. They got a chance today, a pretty cool opportunity. Foul Pole Sportsman, Mason Black was running the story, so I'm sure they're pretty loose. They're going to try and bounce back after losing tonight as well.
Yeah, although they are in 5th place, I mean, you can never count out the Brewster Whitecaps. They're a team with stars, and they're a team that, what you just said, I mean, they're a team that wants it, and they do have that opportunity. Before we let you go and before we close out officially the Bird's Eye View post-game show, tomorrow, if there's one thing the Orleans Firebirds have got to do to get a win or even 2 wins, what would you say it would be?
I think it's timely hitting. I think all summer long, the Birds have pitched extremely well. And we saw that again tonight. You give up 2 runs in a ball game, you got a good chance to win that game. And unfortunately for Orleans, they hit the ball hard just in the wrong places. Falmouth made some nice plays as well. So you give some credit to the Falmouth Commodores because they did a lot of things right. But I think it comes down to timely hitting. When the Birds have rattled off win after win after win, they've had some big hits. It's not necessarily needs to be a home run. Kelly Nicholson likes to say, hey, you got a couple guys on, I'd love to see a 3-run homer. But even if it's something as simple as you get a leadoff man on, you bunt him over, you're driving a run with a single, you do that a couple times a night, the way this team pitches, you could come out with 2 wins.
Hey, it's really good to be a Falmouth Commodore. 9 straight wins. The Orleans Firebirds, it's time to turn it on. They've got 2 chances tomorrow, 14 more innings of baseball for Josh White, Thomas Cinzarella, Alec Henn, our producer, Bryce Johnson to the Twitter world, the YouTube world, and the live stream world.
Wow,
that's it here. I know. That's it here for the Bird's Eye View post-game show.